Hey party people, in this video I want to talk about all the reasons why I'm never going on Project Runway. Why am I making this video? Because people ask me a lot why I don't go on Project Runway. They've been asking me for the 12 years Project Runway has been on air, and yeah, I'm just gonna make this video and just like send people the link whenever anyone asks. I've even had friends try to bribe me. Not that much money. If it was a lot of money, I would at least audition. Couple of disclaimers to start. Number one, if you want to go on Project Runway, you do you, and you do the best you can. Good luck. I don't look down on anyone who wants to go on Project Runway, okay? Like, it's a lot of exposure, and for certain personalities, it's a lot of fun. You know, I've had colleagues, I've had former classmates from Otis, I've had former students go on the show. I have a former student on the show right now, and I am totally cheering them on in the sidelines, and I hope they go really far because the world needs to see their work. Their work is quite incredible. Their graduation collection was... Disclaimer number two, I get that anytime you suggest that I need to be on that show, that you are paying me a compliment. Whether you think that I have a fun personality, or you think that my design skill is good enough for national attention, like, I'm flattered, okay? I take it as a compliment. I'm still not going on the show. Reason number one why Zoe Hong will never audition for Project Runway is there are actually medical reasons why I won't go on the show, okay? Because I feel that if I were to go on the show, I would roll my eyes so often and so hard that I would permanently damage my vision. My father, he jokes that it is my great failing as a Korean woman that I can't control my face. I'll either damage my vision or I will develop a stress aneurysm or something like that. My medical knowledge is very nil, but I feel like something in my brain would explode from trying to hold in. Like, I'm either gonna snark like crazy on the show, or I'm gonna try to hold it in, and you know, things are gonna happen on my face, and then it's gonna be in my brain, and it's gonna explode, and it will be unattractive. You're like, Zoe, that's crazy pants. Let me explain. I did watch the first 2 seasons. I watched every single episode of the first 2 seasons, and I even met the winner of the first season, Jay. I forget his last name. I have a friend. Her name is Nala, and I met her when I was 19, so approximately 370 years ago. Nala is ride or die status with me. If Nala called me like in the middle of editing this video and she's like, I need you in DC right now, I would literally stop editing and shop for plane ticket prices, okay, to DC. So Nala, like, she's one of the few people in my life I let like boss me around. Last year, I went to DC to go visit her, and we're hanging around her apartment, and she's like, oh my God, I have to catch up on all these Project Runway episodes. And I'm just like, yeah, have fun with that. And she's like, no, sit your butt down, hang out with me, watch this, play with the dog, whatever. So we're playing with the dog. The TV's playing Project Runway episode, and I'm digging around on my phone, playing stupid games, and you know, the thing is, it's right there. Her TV is so big. Who needs a TV that big? Apparently Nala. And so she's watching, and it's loud, and I'm listening, and I'm hearing this, and I'm distracted because the things that are happening on the TV are like... In this particular episode that I was watching, the challenge was you couldn't pick whatever fabric you wanted. Everyone picked a card, and on the card would be written a category of fabric that your main fabric had to be. You know, if you pulled the brocade card, you had to buy a brocade. It could be any brocade you wanted, but it had to be brocade. Neoprene, any neoprene you wanted, but it had to be a neoprene, etc., etc. To me, that is like, that's not even a challenge. That's just like life. That's life in the industry. That's your boss saying, hey, these are our fabrics this season. Let's do some cute things. I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. But no, these contestants were flipping their shit. And I'm looking at the TV like, please show the world how much of an amateur you are by flipping your shit over something so minor. Yeah, go ahead and do that. I mean, Have any of you held an industry job? Do you know how many promotions you have to get before you get to pick the fabrics for the collection, or even have much say in that, for that matter? Okay, your design director, they're gonna pick the inspiration, they're gonna pick the color story, and they're gonna pick like general what kinds of fabrics that you're gonna go for, and that trickles down, and someone's gonna be like, we're gonna use this floral print, cotton poplin. Go design me 25 blouses in an hour. I'll be back. And then after that, they all bought their fabrics after their bitching and moaning, and they go back to the sewing studio, and turns out there is a wrench in the plans, and the new challenge is everyone has to switch fabrics with someone else. And chaos erupts again. And I'm staring at the TV like, are you for real right now? Seriously? If you worked in the industry, then you know that these kinds of changes happen all the time. They have a fabric board, your design director falls in love with something, and they're like, okay, I know you just designed me 50 blouses out of this floral print cotton poplin, but I hate cotton poplin now, so we're gonna do this thing instead. And you have to run with it, because that's what designers do. They're given a real challenge, and they shut up, and they get to work. The ones who've worked in the industry, they got to work. Okay? The ones who really don't know what the hell they're doing, they're just like, oh my God, I have to use someone else's ugly fabric to make something beautiful. Like, what is this madness? Why is my life so difficult? Look, if you cannot rise to such a small, really insignificant challenge like that, you're no kind of designer. If you cannot design under such a minor restriction like a switch in fabric choice, you're no kind of designer. It makes it crazy. It just stresses me out, these kinds of reactions, these like, The thing is like, I like shows like RuPaul's Drag Race where everyone is super melodramatic, but it's like, that's entertaining, They're literally entertainers. Drag queens, they're entertainers. They go up there, they look beautiful, and they entertain, okay? That's their thing. They're known for their personalities and their ways of delivering jokes and performing songs. That's their thing. And so when it comes, the kind of melodrama and hilarity and the whining and all that, like, comes in that package, I'm all into it. But I think I'm just, like, too closely invested in fashion. And to, like, really, like, separate that, the teacher part of me comes out, and I'm like, look, in the industry, we do not whine about such insignificant things. Shut up and get to work. Because if someone was whining like that in my class, that is exactly what I would say to them. In my classroom, I'm always trying to prepare my students for what it's going to be like in the industry. And so I'm like, yes, this is going to happen to you in the industry. So sit down, do your work. But can I say things like that to my fellow contestants? No, that's crazy. And so that's the part where I would have to keep my mouth shut, and I would just develop a stress aneurysm from holding it all in. Cut to, I'm in Nala's living room. I'm yelling at the TV. The dog is barking. Nala is laughing her ass off, and she's like, this is why you need to go on the show. And I'm like, I hate you. Oh, I love her. She's the best. Reason number 2, Project Runway is entertainment, and it's not the fashion industry. And a lot of us know that. Okay? Those of us who work in the industry or have worked in the industry or have any exposure, whether it's an internship or, 15 years being a pattern maker, what have you, people get that that's just entertainment. But not everyone does. I just had a viewer comment the other day asking me if I thought that Project Runway was truly indicative of what the industry is like. And I had to think about it for literally negative 0.3 seconds before I'm like, no. It's entertainment, and it's good entertainment. It's funny. It's fun. Heidi Klum is just like charm personified, okay? If you don't like Heidi, get away from me, okay? People love watching a competition. It's great, all that stuff. And sometimes you do see really cool designs. I see the appeal, but there are people out there who think that that's what the fashion industry is like. I already think that the fashion industry has a terrible reputation in the general public's eye. And I don't need to help shows like that sell that reputation and stereotype further. Because I know that when I go to cocktail parties where it's, you know, mixed company, okay, sometimes when I tell people I work in fashion, it's greeted with a, ooh, that's super cool. What do you do? What, you know, like, what are you designing? What are you working on? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's like people want to unload all their fashion related problems onto me, like I'm personally responsible for the way pants don't fit their ankles. And sometimes people just kind of, you know, look down on me like I work in fashion, so my IQ must not be that high, or that I'm going to be one of those melodramatic, chaotic creatives that are perpetuated by the entertainment industry. And I hate that. I do. That's the thing about Project Runway, is it perpetuates the stereotype of the chaotic creative. Okay? The chaotic creative, they exist. They totally exist. They exist in every industry, really, but they exist in fashion. And not only that, but there is a slice of chaotic creative in a lot of us. And believe you me, I know. I also have a slice of the chaotic creative. My husband is well acquainted with my melodramatic side. Poor guy, you feel sorry for him, don't you? We all have our moments. But, you know, for every chaotic creative that I met, you know, I've been working in the industry for a long time. My first internship was when I was 17, so before college. And in all the years, for every chaotic creative I've met 3 quiet, studious art geeks who are just so embroiled in the how of everything. And I've met 4 talkative, chatty, overexcited about design and anything remotely pretty, and those people. And I've met, you know, 17 people who are really in it to make money. They're trying to marry commerce with creativity and trying to strike that balance and make something good and make a bunch of money. And, you know, there are all these different kinds of people working in the fashion industry. And, you know, on Project Runway, you only see one kind. Variations on a theme, but really one kind. You know, the pretty whiny, melodramatic, chaotic creative. And the thing is not everyone on that show is like that, but they edit oh so carefully so that everyone comes across like that. First of all, I'm too much of a control freak to let someone else edit me. I mean, I edit my own YouTube videos. Number 2, they shoot you 24/7. I remember from the first 2 seasons that I watched that if one of the contestants wanted to have a cigarette at 3 in the morning, the camera guys would follow them around. So they shoot 24/7. Everything gets edited down to 40 minutes of viewing time. And so basically you're pulling the most dramatic, the snarkiest, the bitchiest, the most dramatic moments and airing them. And I get it. I get that it's for entertainment. But again, it's like it's pushing that narrative, and I don't want to help people push that narrative. I understand the irony of me saying something like that because I'm aware that part of the success of my channel and my career in general has been through my personality. Okay? About once a week, I get a comment from someone who says, "Hey Zoe, I'm not into art or fashion or drawing or design or anything like that, but I love watching your videos because I think you are hilarious, funny, interesting, soothing." I don't know where that comes from, but whatever, right? And so I get it. You know, people are drawn to my personality. Some of it is my teaching style. Some of it is just my personality, the way I like sing while I'm drawing and, you know, make all these jokes and laugh at myself. Like, I get that is wrapped up in my success. But I also like to think that if I was shit at drawing and if I was shit at telling you how to do things, that y'all wouldn't really stick around. Not the vast majority of you. Okay? And so you know, that's always my goal is like, yeah, I want to be interesting and funny because my number 1 teaching motto is no one learns while they're sleeping. Okay? But I really want to draw well. I want to instruct you well. I want you to learn. And, you know, for me, my most successful videos are the ones where people don't ask a lot of questions because they got it. Like they got it from the video. Okay? When people ask a lot of questions about further explaining the instruction, then I feel like I didn't do a good job. So I get the irony where I'm bashing a thing where it's about entertainment, but here's the thing is like, I really do want it to be about the work. For me, keeping people's attention and keeping people interested while I instruct them on things is part of my work. If I'm boring, people are not listening to my instruction. Okay, so I deliberately add more jokes and things like that to my lectures. I just wish that, you know, either Project Runway focus more on the actual work, on the craftsmanship and the process. I wish there was a show that focused more on the work. And more than anything, I wish that a show like that would actually be popular enough to run for 12 years. Okay? But the reality is, that's not as interesting as someone throwing things across a sewing studio because they're so tired and fed up with something. I don't really know how to wrap up a video like this, but yeah, those are all the reasons why I don't want to audition for Project Runway, and I never will. Again, I'm super flattered that you think I would do well on that show. If you're interested in pursuing a career in fashion, I have my tutorials that are organized into playlists. So if you want to learn how to draw faces, it's in a playlist called Faces. If you're interested in learning the design process, it's in a playlist called Fashion Design Process, you know, because my playlist titles are very tricky and complicated. I also have some videos on like how to get started applying for school and job hunt tips and things like that. So go dig around. I have a lot of videos. I have like, I think almost 200 videos on this channel so far. Yeah, so go watch, enjoy, and as usual, hashtag practice, not magic. And I will see you in the next video.